Let's go.
I'm confused if I should say. I'm confused if I should say Chisake or Kisache Makyeli or
Okay.
yeah.
The last one you got it perfectly.
Makyeli.
Makyeli, yeah. The middle one is Chisache.
Chisache.
It means
Chisache.
God's grace. Yeah. It means His
and that
grace.
is your from what
It's my middle name.
From Luganda. You're Lugandan.
No. Chisache it's a universal name. I believe it doesn't belong to any tribe. Generally, in all it means God's grace. In all languages. But the last one is from Sironko. That's Elgon side. That's where my father is from. Yeah.
Is that Karibu na Kenya?
As though.
Yeah. So maybe you know a bit of Luo or Luya.
Listen, that language I can only greet and call people for food. I
Serious?
don't know it. Yeah. those are the basics.
You can only greet and
call people for food. Those are the basics.
Yeah.
So come and eat.
Yeah.
Food is ready.
But you're also very Kenyan with your CCC because this C is a very Kenyan thing. Where does it come from?
Right. So I mean, first of all, I've been here. Well, I moved here. I've been here now for like a month and 2 weeks, I believe, a month and a week. Plus also I had my stint in Nairobi growing up. Yeah, my father worked here when I was much younger. So we were dabbling between Uganda and Nairobi. Yeah, so yeah.
And, when talk about your experience then and now, how's that experience been like?
Nairobi's then?
Changed, yeah, and now... Do you
Nairobi,
remember
for
anything?
Me, of course I remember. I'm actually living in the same neighborhood near where I grew up.
Which
but
is
also,
Wagani?
Why? You want people to come looking for...
Yeah,
no.
The guys that still owe you... That's you some money.
It's somewhere around there, yeah.
Okay.
But it's really for me the same old Nairobi. Every time I come to Nairobi has always felt like home for me. So I'm just happy. I'm just happy to be here. Yeah.
Let's talk about your life before the book.
Right.
Woman, Fire, Grace. And I can tell that the chapters are Woman, Fire, and Grace.
Yeah.
Explain to us the woman you were before the woman that you are now. And this fire that you've gone through, and where does this grace come from? Please tell us what happened for us to get this book from you. Okay.
First of all, the woman bit... the woman that you see now started out as a little girl, growing up in Kampala. I grew up in a normal household. My dad, my mom, my brother, my sister. Although a lot of my elder brothers and sisters left the country, they're in the US and the UK, so it's just me and my brother, who I follow, who stayed in Uganda. My father worked in Nairobi, so it was just my brother, myself, and my mother in the house. And as the years went by, I think I was at about 8 years old when I realized my mom had a drinking problem, a very severe drinking problem. It was adverse, she would forget to pick us from school. She would forget to take us to school. One time she was driving the car and she actually fell asleep on the wheel with me and 3 of my friends in the car. Yeah, we were about 10 years old. She would have manic episodes. And, as a child, you really couldn't speak out because this is your mom. Yeah. This is your parent. Yeah. Like, what are you trying to say?
And you don't understand what's happening.
You don't understand what's happening. And so it really brought a lot of tension because, one day she's the bright, because she loved life. Wow. My mother was a generous, but she loved life. She was a business lady. She was an entrepreneur, very hardworking. But just some days she'd wake up and her eyes are glassy and she would send me to the shop. I'd be the one to go and buy the mzinga, 2 of them every day. She would take 2 every day.
Wow.
And, so that's really what it was. Of course, growing up, that was there. And I had to come to terms with understanding what is going on with this kind of person. And I think it was at around 2005 is when she passed. She went to sleep and never woke up, organ failure. I was 15 years old and I was 14 years old at the time. And a year later, growing up, I actually vowed to myself, I said, I will never ever taste alcohol because I saw what it did to her. Yeah. And I detested alcohol with my life. But a year later in my senior 4 vacation, a friend of mine from school actually convinced me to go to one of the top clubs in Kampala. I've loved music since I was a child. I'm a reggae dancehall DJ. Yeah. So for me, it was reggae raga night, and I said, you know what, whatever, let's go. Yeah. And all I had to do was just be exposed to it, and I fell in love with the experience.
People, places, things, and you are at the right place.
I was
wrong people. Yeah.
I remember that night so clearly, my goodness. And it was that day that began the next 15 years of downward spiral.
So you ended up in the sort of ditch that you said you would never step in.
I would never, yeah. And it was a terrible ditch. Until I don't even exaggerate when I say I shouldn't be alive today.
So there's certain things that happened when you are, going through your alcoholic motions and stuff.
Yeah.
Including being homeless. Please,
Yes.
I mean, like I told you, when someone looks at you, you really now have your things together. But
Right.
someone wouldn't say that you've been